All right. Hi, Sergio. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being willing to do this. How are you doing?
You're welcome.
How are you doing? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to figure out if this was a good idea or it's gonna be more work for me.
Well, hopefully it's going to be a little less work for you. I
Oh,
download
perfect.
I hopefully this will help you. Okay, so what I did was I downloaded your essay and I uploaded it here. So, do I have your permission to mark on this and then share it with you later?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I first want to share with you that this is the peer review sheet for you to work on. And I didn't ask you to do any of this. We're just going to talk through it, but I wanted you did number your paragraphs, I believe.
Yes,
And
I did.
and I'm going to just talk you through the essay prompt. But we're looking to see if you actually followed the prompt and see if there's any parts that are unclear and if there's any parts that need more development. So this is sort of different than it would be with somebody sending it back, but I just want to go through some of the things that I noticed. So I'm going to do what's called a think aloud, where I'm going to read through your paper and I'm going to make some comments and make some changes and that sort of thing, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so the first thing that I notice, and this is just a super small thing, no comma with the handy dandy date. It's just number, day, year, and it's
Okay.
okay. So I'm looking at your title, Technology Junkies, and I love this title, love it, because right away I get this idea, where people are abusing technology. And what I noticed when I was listening to all the Flipgrid responses, that those people that did use social media, the thing they wanted to do was use it less. And so I think that you have a great topic. So let me look here, and I'm going to just, like I said, read aloud. You can stop me at any time. I do want to ask you though, before I start, is there anything that you have any questions about?
Yes, I am not 100% sure if I use the websites that I used, if they were the proper ones, and how I inserted them into the report of the essay.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Okay, so society, I will pay attention to that. Okay, so society has become addicted to the World Wide Web. We have allowed the world of social media to change who we are, and not necessarily for the better. The true reality is that our society, both young and old, spend an enormous time using social media and religiously alter their persona to be part of a virtual reality society. So let me see. Um, I would put an S on here. I'm gonna do my comments in caps, although I think I have that on there. Okay, so let me ask you, I just have a question. In part of your essay, did you note the amount of time? Did you find out what the average amount of time? Uh,
Yes.
okay, so it's there. I have not read your essay yet because I wanted to have a special first response here. Okay, so you do talk about that. Okay. Um, it has done something that is very unique. So I'm going to take out very. This is something that a lot of people have a hard time with because everybody says very unique. Unique is, it's either unique or it's not. That's the quality of that word. But it has done something that is unique in nature to millennials of, I would suggest, in our society. It seems like an online presence has taken a greater importance to us than who we are and who we really are in the real world. Okay, I would change this word really to real. That's just a stylistic thing.
Okay.
All right. Can it be an escape from reality, or do we long so much for acceptance that we are willing to alter everything that is unique about us? Okay. I am hooked into your essay, by the way. We need to make sure this is a question there. The issue we face is one that is cognitive in nature, and it is causing rapid change. I would say it's cognitive, but it's also, but I'll read the rest of your essay, but I'm also wondering, I'm thinking about the emotional aspect. So effective, effective is the emotional aspect. Okay. And is causing rapid change. This new change consists of people spending a lot of time on the internet. Thank you for capitalizing the internet. I don't know if I put that, I don't know if I put that in the email or not, but I meant to. I've been, my other class, my face-to-face class, I'm like, it's capital I.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I did. Okay, good. Especially on their social media accounts, which is creating a false image of what it means to be accepted. It is leading to a very serious dependence, to very serious dependency issues at which society in general have become obsessed followers and faithful believers in what is being posted on the internet across the world. I love this sentence and this phrase right here, obsessed followers and faithful believers. Across the world, that's big. So okay. I might be, unless you have proof that it's across the world, right? So I would maybe narrow it down to the US.
Okay.
Or I don't know, or current, yeah, maybe US. Something to think about. I'm not totally sold on the US. It could, but something smaller than the world, just unless you have proof. Okay, but I really like your opening paragraph. I'm looking to see in your paper that there's a problem, that there's a dependency issues. So let me ask you another question. Did you offer any solutions somewhere in your paper?
Yes.
Okay. And so what I've been noticing with students, I met with some students today, one-on-one, that is I'm noticing two organizational trends. And I think we talked about this in our last Zoom meeting. Either you write a bunch of problem and then offer some solutions, or it's problem, solution, problem, solution. Which one did you tend to go with, or something else?
I went with problem, and then at the end, towards the end of my essay, I wrote it down a solution that I thought about.
Okay. And I want to say with the solution, I know I had this conversation with a couple of students today. I don't know if I did with our class when we talked about the prompt, this particular prompt. I feel like I had it written down earlier in some earlier prompt, but the idea that scholars don't necessarily have to have completely solved a problem or completely, it'd be nice if you had a solution and it was realistic and everybody followed it and we'd live in this utopia, right? So it's okay that maybe we have the beginning of a solution, but that we need to think about other solutions. And I'm saying this to you, and I haven't even read the rest of your paper, but I'm saying it to you because I think it's also valuable to anybody watching this video, that it doesn't have, that we want to try and come up with realistic things that people might do, as opposed to saying, and then if everybody does this, the world will just be a perfect place, right? Yeah. That's not how it works. But
yeah, no, it's not.
But I love this. Love obsessed followers and faithful believers. It sounds religious, right?
Yes.
And we are followers. That's an internet term, but it like this seems like it's a religion. I don't know if you refer to it being sort of religious in your paper, but
no, not really. But I guess what I'm talking about is the faithful portion of it is that we take everything at heart.
Right.
Kind of like when you go to church and you talk about God, if you're religious, the word of God, you kind of know that it's going to be true. So that's what we're beginning to do, or beginning to behave when it comes to the internet stuff.
Right. So if you feel, I'm not saying that you need to tap back into that phrase, but if you'd like to, you can. Because like I said, I haven't read the rest of it. I keep saying that. Okay, so prior to I'm going to go a little bit faster here. just so that this video isn't like too long. But okay, prior to the millennials, let's put a, okay, prior to the millennials, this is apostrophe here is because it's more than it belongs to them. So the prior to the millennials way of life, which consists of, although I would put it right here because there's more than one. Okay, part of the millennials way of life. This means this plural and possessive.
Okay.
If the apostrophe. Okay, millennials way of life, which consists of high-tech toys and the internet. Children born prior to 1980 lived in a different world with a very different set of behavior norms. Isn't that true? Turkle states, today's young people have grown up with robot pets and on the network in a fully tethered life. Okay, so if Turkle's name is right here, her name doesn't have to be here. It just goes like this. So I'm glad you actually did that. That helps. I would encourage you to have a transition because you are giving a place to compare it against, a time frame to compare it against. So prior to the millennials way of life, okay, which other different norms. However, yet now Turkle notices. Okay, but let me, what is Turkle's first name? Is it Cheryl? I don't remember.
Think so.
I'm going to put just first name because I think it is, but I'm not sure. Because you're introducing her for the first time. If you introduce an author for the first time, you use first and last name, and then after that, it's just the last name. Turkle, and then you want to say who she is. Author of, what's it called? What's the article called?
Growing Up Tethered.
Okay. Okay, so yet now, Cheryl, whatever her name is, author of Growing Up Tethered, notices today's young people have grown up with robot pets and on the network in a fully tethered life. Okay, so it transitions, because this right here, this is you, this is me, this is a lot of people, but there's a reason why you're mentioning this, because it's you, right? And so and that's okay. So, but you want to give a little bit of context so that, okay. Technology has impacted the way teens think about society and human interaction. Teens no longer look for the personal feeling of a face-to-face, put this here, face-to-face conversation like those which were so important to prior generations. Young people, I would even use I'm going back, I'm like thinking as I'm reading this, I would put a so, teens no longer.
Okay.
Okay. Young people have chosen to alienate themselves from humans as a way of protecting themselves. Okay, so my question here, this is great that you're talking about protecting themselves. At some point, you need a little bit of proof to support that. And I don't know, I would ask, I would put here, do you have proof?
Okay.
Right? Because that's a claim. You are sharing here that it's different, but your main claim here, as you're getting us into your problem, is that it's a way of protecting themselves. So that's actually a good claim, and you need to think about if you have proof of that.
Okay.
And that's probably pretty easy to find through the library or some sort of internet site that is like, you know, a .edu or something that's, you know,
Okay.
right? Teens have learned how to suppress anxiety and the feeling of separation by simply being able to send a text and expect a text in return when they need closeness. Teens no longer need that warm feeling of a handshake or much wanted or needed tight hug as a mean of comfort. Turkle states. Okay, so this is your second states. So let's make sure you print out that Googled signal phrase site, okay, where you get different signal phrase verbs. So I'm going to give you another one. I changed this one up here, notices, to, you could even say turkle. Let me see. Okay, so your proof here is turkle. All right, so I'm going to go back up here, and we need to make sure it, okay, it's connecting to turkle down here. You just have it up above, and that's okay. Turkle observes. Is the her a teen? Is the her, who's the her? I'm reading this and I'm pretending I don't know. So who's the her?
It's one of the students that they talked to during her I guess her interviewing students as to how they feel about their use of social media. So then they interview a student, and that's how she deals with that separation anxiety that she feels.
Okay. All right. Looking good. Okay. Okay. I am so glad you put this word nowadays. It's actually one word like this.
Okay.
But it is not a good word to use in scholarly essays. So in our current society seem to, and you say that, so, and you could, and let's mini, that way it's not all, right? It's not all adolescents, because we know, because there are some teens who don't use it at all, right?
Right.
So many adolescents in our current society seem to have lost the ability to express emotions on a face-to-face level. They would much rather find assurance and approval via a text message or a post. Worst of all, adolescents are willing to find refuge on their social media accounts in which they spend countless hours in an attempt to fulfill their desire for what? For, let's connect it back up. What's their desire?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you, what is their desire?
Oh, the desire for instant gratification. That gratification that they get when they get a response back from their friends.
Okay. Okay, so let's because this is our concluding sentence here. Let's take a look at you're talking about desire for instant gratification, safe,
non-personal
interaction. And I feel like there was one other thing that was discussed in here. Let's see. For instance, safe, non-personal and a way to avoid anxiety. Does that sound like what you've been talking about there?
Yes.
And I'm thinking about, although with the anxiety thing, that even though it is social media that creates more anxiety, right? They're trying to avoid anxiety, and yet it's what
it's creating more. Yeah.
It's like this vicious circle, right? And I put in a semicolon here because it actually, I'm going to put a comma here and put a semicolons here. Use semicolons like commas in this situation if there's a comma in between one of the ideas, because this is, yeah. So worst of all, adolescents are willing to find refuge on their social media accounts in which they spend countless hours in an attempt to fulfill their desire for instant gratification, safe, non-personal interaction, and a way to avoid anxiety, even though it is social media that creates more anxiety. Okay. Does that seem okay? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I want to share with you that you can choose to take none of this advice if you don't want to. You can take whatever advice you'd like to, and even if it's something that you don't agree with that I'm giving you suggestions about, this is right. Paper, and it's your thing to make that choice. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So this one, okay. So teenagers have developed an extreme dependency to the internet. Various teens experience withdrawals when they're unable to check their social media accounts to see if they've received a message from their friends. Since that's plural, we'll just say messages from their friends, and or to see what kind of new information is being posted. Teens spend approximately 9 hours a day using the internet, according to a CNN report. Okay, so that is the all right, so what I would do is, you have an author from that report, an author's last name from the report?
I did not get one, no.
Okay. You're going to move this part to your works cited, and you're going to use a works cited, from a website. And I will tell you the one thing that I did do here on your paper, I did one single thing, is I talked about the fact of what a sample works cited page is, and I have a link out to Purdue OWL, which can give you how to cite a website, like what information you include. And then you are citing Turkle, and so you're citing a text within an anthology here. And so right down here, I know it's way far down, it's a work in an anthology, so you put Turkle, comma, and her first name, the title of the essay, Rereading America, edited by so-and-so, and this is how you do this one. Okay. Let's see. I have to see if it's in here too. All right, let me see. I want to, here's MLA, just so you know. You just go down here to the left, MLA Works Cited Electronic Sources. So you click on that one to get the CNN, put the CNN report there. You see this right here? Right here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to your essay. And you center this, and then the second line of each one plus is tabbed in. So I'm going to hit the enter button and then tab. Okay, so I hit enter and tab. And you don't have to do this until after you do all of it. And then it's in alphabetical order. All right, and it's its own page. So this would be starting at the top of here. Now, the reason why this is all the way down here is because I've been typing. This is weird. This is like way down here. Oh, okay. That's weird. Excuse my dog. All right. Come on. Say hi. Hi, Lily. All right. I'm going to go more quickly, so I'm not going to. Oh, so you also. I keep saying that. You included CEF, so CEF needs to be included in that works cited as well. Did you choose any other Rereading America people?
No, those two are the only ones.
Okay, so you have to have two. Excuse me, my dog here. Okay, you have to have two separate entries. All right, so let's go. I'm looking forward to seeing your visual. All right. All right. So if you could find the author of that, that'd be great. If not, then take that part out. Okay, another consequence of spending so much time on social media. Okay, so we spend 9 hours. So my question is, you give this piece of information. I want to know, why is this important? Okay, so if they spend 9 hours a day using the internet, then it means that there's how many waking hours do that? Golly, 9.
Yes,
that is so
a lot of time.
I'm sorry, that just hit me in the face right now. 9.
Yeah.
So
that it's a lot of hours, and what a lot of the times what they do is that they multitask. They're watching social media or on social media, doing homework, watching TV, trying to concentrate on different things. So that's how it's affecting them even more.
Okay, so you need to talk about that a little bit there. Okay, because if you give I'm sharing this because I'm sharing it for you, but I'm also sharing it for anyone who has watched this long. That the reason why we do this is so that we can actually, you give a piece of information, you need to analyze or synthesize it and bring it back to your argument. Okay, and we're already at 5 o'clock and I feel badly. How much more time do you have?
I'm good. I'm good with time.
You're good. Okay, so if you're not, just cut me off. Okay. Another consequence of spending so much time on social media sites such as Facebook, for example, is that has been known to cause anxiety amongst teens. I would maybe change to Snapchat or Instagram, and I just say that because I think that Facebook is more for older people. I'm just saying, and because I know that you don't use social media, so I'm not even on Facebook. I never was. I kind of avoided that whole thing. But you might want to, because I think any of this right here could fit with these. For example, has been known to cause anxiety amongst teens. Teens are in constant competition with each other to get as many likes as possible. The more likes you attain, the better your social status appears to be for the rest of your online base. Based on this concept, teens regularly alter and boost their profiles in order to become more appealing to those who view their profiles. And this is going back specifically to your thesis. Not only are teens trapped to the likes. That's odd. That's an trapped. I know you're trying to use trapped and confined. I think confined is good. I'm trying to think of another word. Oh. That's a little different, but it connects with bound to the number of likes on their social, right? They're banned. You're trying to say that they become imprisoned, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so
So that will be another word for it. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not, they're not trapped though. They're not trapped to their likes. They're bound to the numbers that that matters. Okay. And so but they are confined to a profile from which even universities look to. This is actually, this two right here is also, so it'd be look to, and so it's not look to, because even that's grammatically correct, so just in order to. The to is actually grammatically correct. It just sounds, it just looks wonky.
It looks odd, yeah.
Yeah. In order to, so that in order helps. To choose candidates for their schools. How are teenagers not to feel fascinated or drawn to social media if social media gives them everything they think they're looking for in life? The only thing you need to do is enhance yourself based off society's idea of cool and be an excellent creator of myth that people tend to do to be sought after. Okay, society's idea of, I'm going to make this a little more academic, right?
Acceptable, yeah.
And be an excellent creator of myth. I love that, creator of myth, that people tend to do to be sought after. Figure 1 shows the percentages of time teens spend on devices. Okay, so we're going to take this. All right, this is good. 40, oh Lord. And that is that multitasking is, I think I want you to, let's see. I want this to not be at the end of a paragraph. I want you to discuss multitasking. Because you were telling me about this, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that this is not so you say, figure 1 shows the percentage. And so again, I want to go back to what I'm noticing is that you are giving a lot of explanation beforehand, which is fine. That's good. That's all right. And then you're giving the piece of proof, but you're not stating why is this important.
Oh, okay.
What does it connect to in terms of your claims, right? So I'm suggesting that you discuss multitasking, right? Because it's like 47%, but then my younger daughter, oh my gosh, she watches TV or listens to music, on her computer while she's doing homework, and does well. But I do, she does really well, but I worry. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that, this is a bad habit, but the habit's already there, right? So it's like, okay. So, all right. The true reality is that there's no escape from the world of social media, which we talked about, right? You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Okay, teenagers and adults have adapted to this new world, and unfortunately, they become so embedded in it that it becomes reality. I like that it becomes reality, no longer just cyberspace. They have become true believers of what it contains, almost similar to a religious a religious to a religious institution. That brings that. I was looking for a place for that because I really liked how you talked about the true leaders, right? And you can change the wording, and this is, again, I'm seeing this for the first time, so the wording that I'm suggesting here may not be great either. So you take this and you take a little bit of time, and then you go back and you revise. Okay. Common people and powerful leaders have also jumped on the bandwagon. I'm glad you brought that up. And use social media as a platform to spread good and bad information. This can be a very serious threat if applied negatively. For example, I like how right here that I could see that you're introducing the Seif article, right? Is it Charlie Seif? I'm just going to put...
Yes, I believe it's Charlie, yes.
Okay, Charlie Seif.
I don't have my paperwork with me. It's in my backpack.
That's okay.
I'm trying to remember the names.
What's the what did he write? I don't even remember now because I'm like thinking about.
I think this one's interconnected. I think it's interconnected or something like that.
Okay. Okay. I am telling you, please Google. Please, please, please Google so we don't get a bunch of states here. We're just going to put this for now. There might be a better word. You Google it. Google signal, phrase, verbs. Okay? And then you can choose different ones at different times. All right. In 2000, launched. Okay. I know that you have this. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the name here. It was later determined. Okay. And it was boo-boo. I'm going faster here. I'm going to kind of. All right. All right. There's something, I was listening to the radio that and I'm not saying you have to put something in, but I heard something about the idea of narrowcasting. I think that's what this is, an aspect of, although it's about advertising to what people search for.
Right.
And I'm not saying, this is just a thought. You don't have to, you can erase it or whatever. I just wanted to throw that out there for you or anyone else who wants to look into it. And I think it's a little bit off of this, but like if I search for, if I search for a certain thing, I think we talked about, then I'm going to get a bunch of ads for shoes, right, for example, right? Like for weeks on end. Or if I look for a recipe, they're going to throw that and they're going to try to sell me things. Would you like this thing? Okay. Unfortunately, there are no permanent solutions to defeat how technology has transformed our lives. However, there are ways to change how future generations could better deal with this epidemic. I like that you say that it is an epidemic there. We must first acknowledge that there's a problem with internet dependency. Yes, statistics show that kids spending more time on the internet than the time they spend with their parents, time in school or any other things. Where did you get that information? Do you have proof?
Yeah, I think I read it off of one of those sites.
Okay. Make sure, I'm just going to put proof, and I just want to make sure that I'm just going to put a question mark. Because if you want to put that claim, you want to make sure, okay, so because right here, I don't know what this is.
I don't know what happened.
Is this a paraphrase? Maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
I want to know.
I knew I read it. Yeah, the that website, I got that information from the multitasking.
And that's fine, but you need to make sure you say who that is. Like you need to
Okay.
verbally say from blah blah blah. Okay,
Okay.
we must behavior problems for the okay. Um, so are there behavior programs right now?
I believe there is. They are like dependency places for technology themselves. And it's
Okay.
more like that cognitive. Um, when people have obviously anxiety, it's just like a group therapy. I think that's what they call them.
Right. I know that tonight, this is another thing that my daughter's school is having a thing that we could go to about helping our kids with uh, internet and social media and all of those things that we could attend, and it talks about it. Um,
Hmm.
so, but I would give you could probably quickly find some such as.
Okay.
Yes. I just have to say that. Okay, so, but again, such as. I like this. So we're taking responsibility. I feel like this last one, lastly, is something up here.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a separate one.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to identify. We have to identify what the problem is first in order to continue on.
Okay. All right. Okay. I like it. I very much like this. And I feel like our conversation here hopefully helped you think about your writing. Are there any other questions that you have for me about your paper?
No. Am I going to get a copy of that so I could look at it? Because I'm not
Yes,
going to remember all these changes.
absolutely. I'm going to copy and paste it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course. Yes. I really, really appreciate you doing this. This was
Thank you.
really an
You're
important.
welcome. Yeah, one of the hardest things obviously is connecting the information to the essay and also trying to think like a young kid. Um, that's harder because I'm pretty like straight and narrow. It's just like this is what I believe, this is what should be done, but I had to kind of think about it differently. It's kind of tough for me.
Well, I think you have your ideas and now you're finding the proof, right? Or the example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I appreciate this. I am
Okay.
going to make sure you get this in a moment. But I want to thank you again for doing this. And for those of you watching this, if you watch the entire thing, please use the ideas from this to help you as you look at your peers' essays. All right. Thanks. Have a great one.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.